This is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard this evening, friends, as we start off the week or close out the weekend. However you choose to view it, with a little bit of an update to the video from this morning. I might have jumped the gun by about a matter of 8 minutes, to be quite honest with you. Is obviously, if you pay attention throughout the weekend, there's a whole ton of Oilers hockey news that comes out. There's the 9 Things article from Kurt Levins. There's a Hello Hockey on Edmonton Sports Talk. There's updates abound everywhere you look. And this morning, missing kind of a puzzle piece that would have been nice to have if I was paying attention at all this weekend to what we talked about earlier this morning with the Cody Ceci trade rumors. So we'll get to that in a matter of moments. But if you are new to the channel, I encourage you, because it has been a hot first week of summer. Not talking in terms of weather outside. It's 30 degrees in southern Alberta today. But it's been a hot start for Jeff Jackson and the Edmonton Oilers to what has been draft, free agency, and oh my goodness, some trades and some buyouts here for the Edmonton Oilers. That said, what do we have to discuss? Well, I talked to you about how I think Cody Ceci is still and might still be the odd man out when it comes down to upgrading on the top four. Now, what was mentioned over on Hello Hockey this weekend is a little combination of that, a little bit of combination of throwing in Brett Kulak, and kind of actually what the Edmonton Oilers are truly looking for. And I might have went a little too soft-angled on Brett Kulak's trade rumors as well earlier this morning. So let's get to this. Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell both tweeted out videos of this one alongside David Pagnotta of the fourth period this morning, talking about the Oilers aren't done cooking yet. That's been the quote-unquote term for what Jeff Jackson has done here this offseason. He's been cooking. And basically the fourth period, which is David Pagnotta on Twitter, has been talking about, well, the Oilers have a target in mind for what they want to do with the defense, but they also need to clear cap space, and they need to move at least one of Ceci or Kulak to do one or the other. And when it comes down to it, Kulak's in the twos, Ceci's up higher than that, and honestly, right, it is a situation where with those two combined together on the third pair, you're paying a little bit too much for a third pairing that, yes, they're above a replacement level. They're guys that can play up in your top four for a little chunk of time in case of injury, in case of anything happening. But when it comes down to it, you would love, for the right price, lesser price, whatever, you would love to upgrade on them, whether it be now, here in the offseason, or it be at the NHL trade deadline. If you plan on doing it at the deadline, you might as well sell off now, get a prospect, get a pick, get somebody back in return for one of those two guys, and then just ride out Stetcher and Brown, who are going to give you good enough quality. Plus, the Oilers have a Cam Dineen on the farm. I believe they have a Ben Gleason. They have a Noel Hoffenmeyer. There's a couple guys along the way. A Max Warner might actually sneak up to the NHL for a game this year, like a Dmitry Samorukov did a couple years back. But it's kind of one of those situations right now. The Oilers have good depth. They don't have good NHL experience depth that I want playing in the playoffs. But with Philip Broberg finally arriving on the scene, and of course now being capable of holding the hardest task down, that is defending in the Stanley Cup final in the top four. He did that, flying colors. Well, guess what? He's a top four defenseman, at least going into training camp, if not the first half of the season. So you would assume when you're paying just about $6 million for a third pair, one of the two guys in Kulak or Ceci have to go. But you go back to this video here, it's about 26 seconds. You can find it in multiple locations on Twitter. What you want to do is go find that and listen to what David Pagnotta has to say, because the trade target the Oilers have in mind, right? The rumors are Ceci and Kulak are fair enough game for the Oilers. They're exploring both options, see what comes up of it, and see where they can go from there. But the trade target is a 4-5 defenseman. And obviously, we know as Edmonton Oilers fans, the target has always been another top four defender to play alongside Darnell Nurse. You've got your top pair in Bouchard and Ekholm, but you need that just anchor of the defense in terms of defending alongside Darnell Nurse. Cody Ceci has his upside. Brett Kulak has his upside. But both have detracting kind of parts of their games that don't allow them to be that solidified number 4, number 5 option for the Edmonton Oilers, right? I think there's a good segment of Oilers fans that are blaming Brett Kulak still for the Game 7 loss against Florida. So you kind of look at how this all goes together. And of course, Cody Ceci, he was a guy who grabbed a lot of headlines throughout the playoffs. And I don't want to be sitting here preaching playoffs. Let's overreact and get rid of these guys. But again, you combine the playoffs with contracts, with the pairing they're playing on going into next year. One of these guys, in any eventuality the Oilers want to run this season, have to go at some point. And Jeff Jackson has mixed no time into his decisions when it comes to making sure the action is taken beforehand, right? This is something we always accused Ken Holland of doing, was sitting on his hands and waiting and taking the long approach. And it worked to some degree, but it also was a detriment for the Oilers multiple times over. Whereas, right, you look at it now, for the Oilers, if you can make the math work when it comes down to it for Ceci and Kulak and the cap and all that, you can get an upgrade now and not worry about it, or not have to, well, the LTIR this or that, or stop putting so many factors into it and just get it done now. That's what Jeff Jackson did with Ryan McLeod, and it appears we are seeing this stuff everywhere, right? EST is not the only outlet. The fourth period is not the only reporter sitting here telling us that Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak's names are coming up in multiple trade rumor circles. This is something that has gone on, similar to Ryan McLeod, similar to, obviously, right, everything else that has happened the past year. For a year, right? There's been a ton of names in the Oilers organization in trade rumors. McLeod, the first one to go. Potentially now, Ceci is the strongest leading candidate due to size of contract dollars. But Brett Kulak as well, a very sizable contract on that third pair. Where I think, yeah, for the right dollars, I mean, if you're exchanging dollar for dollar and stuff, you could probably get a good fourth defender out of a Brett Kulak trade somehow, some way, if you end up getting him into the system. So that's where I look at things right now. I'm excited to see where we go this summer, but I did want to bring you this update, right? I had some stuff to tend to this afternoon, so my apologies, right? Obviously, 30-degree day dictates a couple of necessities, but figured I'd get this up for you. It's been a while since we had a 2-video upload day, about a week, so figured we'd talk about some things here to follow up where I was at this morning, because I couldn't quite remember. I don't really care about the Brett Kulak stuff. Well, now it looks like we should, and it looks like I need to, so that's where we find ourselves this evening. Going into Monday, I'm sure tomorrow will bring a lot of fun. Bob Stauffer's show back on the airwaves. Oilers now at 5 p.m. tomorrow. So if you're looking for a recap of everything that's happened this weekend, and talking about Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl, of course, you got as well Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak. There's multiple attack angles here for the Oilers. I would be paying attention to what Bob has to say between 4:50 and about 7:05 tomorrow night. So thanks for being aboard, friends. Really appreciate you hanging out with me. Other than that, I think we're going to head on out of here for the evening, and maybe see if the Oilers' Jeff Jackson has something for us here on a Saturday or Sunday summer night. Enjoy it. Stampede. Hope you're enjoying. Bye.